Welcome to another episode of Quick Tips. I'm Jerry from the Celluloid Collective, and today we're going to learn how to load a Paterson spiral. Let's get started. If you have checked out some of our other videos, you might have saw Kenny teach you how to retrieve your leader. So you have a couple of options whenever you're doing this. You can retrieve your leader, get your film started into your Paterson spiral before you go into a dark bag, or you can use this, which is basically a fancy can opener, and we can pry the top off. So as a reminder, all of this will need to be done in a dark bag. Today we're just doing this for educational purposes so you can see what's actually going on. But when you're doing this, you will have to do this in the dark, so keep that in mind. The film is still light sensitive at this point. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to do the first option where you can retrieve your leader and get started that way. So let's do it. So if you watch our other videos, you'll know that all you have to do is you're going to insert your leader retriever in, push down your first tab, and then you're going to wait for the click. So we'll move it around. We hear the click, back about a quarter of a turn until it stops, push in your second knob. I also give it another little turn here, and then what you can see as we're starting to pull it out is you'll see that this is moving. If that is moving, you'll know that your retriever has worked, so we've pulled that out. So once we have this out, we can start to load our spiral. So this will allow you to do this not completely in the dark. So if you're feeling a little less confident about it in that way, usually when I teach my students in high school, I retrieve the leader for them. It just kind of lowers the stress a little bit and lets you do this first step in the daylight. So once we'd be in there now, we're going to take just this little bit, as much as we need. As you'll remember, this is still light sensitive, so the more we pull out, we might end up getting into that first picture. So about the first 4 to 6 inches is usually wasted anyway when we're loading the camera, so don't be too stressed there. So now that we're here, we're going to line our film up with these channels. So these channels, we're going to load the film into there. We're going to pull out just enough that we can get past that first ball bearing right there. So we're going to pull it straight through, and we'll be able to get it right past that ball bearing. Once it's on the ball bearing, I usually just give it one little twist. If it's starting to move the whole canister, then I know I'm on there and I can go do the rest of this in my dark bag. So like I said, today we're not going to put it in a dark bag because we want you to see what's actually happening, but this would be your option. So I'm going to show you the other way now. So if you don't have a leader retriever, that's fine. If all you have is a can opener, that's also fine. So we're going to go ahead and put our film back in. And now it's back inside the canister. So inside your dark bag, you would have to pry the top off. And to do that, we're going to put, just like opening a soda bottle or anything like that, we're going to pry off the top. So once again, this would all be done in the dark. This is just for demonstration purposes, so don't come at us that we're doing this in the daylight. This is a dummy load of film, so we can just learn for educational purposes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of pressure right here in the palm of my hand, and then I'm just going to lift straight up. It's going to come right off, and then that will fly off. Keep in mind, this now is sharp, so you'll have to be careful with that. Remember, you're doing all of this in the dark, so just be safe. It's kind of, it shouldn't be too bad, but just keep, be cognizant of it. I'm going to push out the column, and you'll see that I have all of my film here. At this point, really doesn't matter if you're touching the film. We're going to go through a chemical process, and all of that is going to get wiped off. So at this point, if you need to hold the film and get your fingerprints on it, go for it. Do whatever you need to do to get it on your spiral. So we're going to line those channels up, trying to keep this from unfurling completely, because if it does, you're going to be in a dark bag, and it can make it a little difficult. So we're going to pull this past that sprocket, and then I'm going to start ratcheting it on. So I'm going to let that fall down a little bit. Let that fall down, and we're going to start walking it on. As you'll see, I've bulk loaded this film, so there's a little bit of tape on here. Also, this is not a full roll of film. This is just for demonstration purposes. So once we're there, we're going to have to cut this off to get that in there. So we're going to do that now. And I forgot my scissors. So that might happen. If you forget your scissors, then you just have to pry it off. But usually there's a piece of tape here, so we can just twist it. But I'll have my scissors, and I'm going to cut that free. That's gonna fall off, and I'm gonna walk this the rest of the way on. So now that this is completely on my spiral, I would be able to put this in my tank. So I would use my column here. I'm gonna push the spiral on, and I'm gonna push it all the way to the bottom. So even if you're only developing one roll of film, we suggest you put a second one on top. What that's gonna allow is if this ever moves up a little bit while it's developing, that way it'll be completely in the chemistry. You need about 300 milliliters per roll, depending on the tank that you're in. That'll vary, so look at the tank on the bottom. You'll see on the bottom that there are instructions right here. So this one here, for one 135 millimeter roll, this one's actually 375 cc's of chemistry. Other Paterson tanks are a little bit different, so just make sure you're looking. But what we'll do, even if we're only developing one roll of film, is we like to put 2 reels on top of it. So now I can have it, this will keep this first reel down at the bottom. I want to make sure that it stays down at the bottom in the chemistry. I would put this back on, and I would put my lid on. Only at this point is your light going to be, or your film is going to be light tight. So make sure this is on. If you have one of these ones that spin on like this, make sure you don't cross thread it. It's kind of easy to cross thread. If you have the other Paterson tank that is just the lid like this, a Paterson tank that's like this and has the twist on top, then you'll just pull that onto the top until it clicks. So you make sure that it clicks. Only when it clicks is it going to be light tight. So you want to make sure that that stays on there, because last thing you want to do is all your pictures fall out, and also all the chemistry, because then that will make a mess and nobody likes that as well. So once you would have your lid on like this, then you'd be able to add your chemistry. Depending on if you're doing black and white, color, ECN2, whatever you're doing, you'd follow your instructions as written on your chemistry. So thanks for stopping back by for quick tips. I'm Jerry. Please like, subscribe, give us a little comment down at the bottom, and if there's something you'd like to learn that you think is a little difficult, let us know how we can help. So we'll see you next time.